Well, and I think when people think a drug is going to fix everything, that's a whole different problem.
This is the Atomic Souls Podcast.
Dude, I'm just making sure. All right, welcome to the Atomic Souls Podcast.
Thank you.
Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Melanie Cotter. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I have been doing that kind of work since 2005.
Nice.
Before that, I was in the film business out in Los Angeles. I graduated from North Texas with I dabbled in film. They wanted me to take trigonometry, so I never really finished the film. They were like, you can graduate and not take trigonometry. And I was like, I'm going to do that.
I'll do that one.
So I actually have a degree in sociology, but I really did like psychology as well.
Yeah.
And so I went out to LA and I worked in the film and television industry, mostly music videos for 15 years. And then I went to graduate school out there, and I have a degree in clinical psychology from Antioch University in LA, which is where I met my husband, who is also a therapist.
Yes.
We're not brother and sister. Someone asked us that one time. I was like, they were like, are you guys brother and sister? I was like, no.
We're married. We're not like that.
I think we look a lot alike. We're both kind of white, blue-eyed people, so maybe that's why they thought so. I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Now I want to Google your husband and see what he looks like.
Yeah, we need a picture later.
Well, yeah, you may have him next. So I've actually been semi-retired from counseling for a while. But when I was counseling, I specialized in substance abuse. Okay. I did so much great work in that area and had just so many good mentors in that area. And I feel like I know I am. I actually got my talk got picked to be presented at the National Certified Case Managers Conference because I was a case manager at Blue Cross for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I was the only subject matter expert in substance abuse, codependency, or whatever we're calling it now.
Yeah.
I know that names have all changed. When you've been in this business for a while, it's like everybody starts calling things different things.
Yeah.
You're not homeless, you're home challenged.
Unhoused. And what is the legal one? Oh, there's a new one for...
There's a new one.
Justice.
Yeah.
Something justice.
I always say, when I was young, we called them hobos, which, means homeward bound, which I think is nicer. I do. I think it's just nicer that they have a home. They're just not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, unhoused. Justice. It's justice something. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But
involved. Hobo meant.
Yeah.
Justice involved.
But part of what I wanted to talk about today was something that I think is kind of new and exciting.
Yeah.
That maybe you guys haven't, had someone on yet. But in my own personal, psychology development, I have been getting Spravato treatments.
Yes, I'd love to hear about that. We had someone on about kratom and the misuse and all of that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. Yeah.
This is
Spravato,
legit
ketamine.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a legit
and
psych drug.
Yeah. The balance of using that and recovery and because there's not much research on its impact on people with chemical dependency.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'll share with you. I don't like to talk too much about it because I like to respect the traditions, but I do have a history of personal recovery, and it's something that that started around 2000 for me. I do have a gap in there. I'll just say it was during the first Trump presidency, which everybody's like, oh, okay, they understand.
Stressful.
But anyway, I've been back for a while now, and very happy to be there. And what's happened for me is I started, going to psychiatrists and stuff when I was 18 years old. I was just one of those kind of sad kids because I just had kind of a tough upbringing. I had divorced parents and had all these step parents and these step siblings that just weren't very nice. And I went to 7 different elementary schools. I mean, it was just a lot going on. Yeah. And I had really nice parents who loved me, but they were just that me generation boomer kind of, it's funny because I'm watching Mad Men right now and it's just
I had to stop watching that because the domestic violence was so intense. And I was like, This feels too real.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm only like halfway through.
It's like, a few
It's one
seasons
of my favorite shows.
Yeah. It's like, it's
too much.
Like it's like the freakish parallels when you're like Gen X, because like we were like feral children, you know, like we were, and it wasn't just drinking out of the hose. Yeah. It was that you got from school, and if you had homework, you would lie to your parents and say that you didn't have homework, especially me, because I'm like so ADHD, I hated school. And you would just like go outside and you would ride bikes with your friends, but you didn't like ride on the streets. You would be like in alleys, and you'd be like, we would just like dig through like junk piles and, you know, chase weird animals through creeks. And it's like, yeah, like I would never let my child like do. Right. This is when I was like 8.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. My parents be like, go outside, ride your bike for the whole evening.
Yeah, it was a whole different thing. Yeah. We would go to the pool, like, you know, like up the street at the rec center, and just be there all day, just so sunburned. So it was just kind of a crazy time. But so anyway, by the time I was 18, I had a lot of chemical use under my belt already. And had a bad, you know, just a bad breakup. You know, when you're young, those are like so rough because you've never,
devastating.
No one's ever broken up with you before. Yeah. You just like are like, it's this pain that you just don't think is ever going to go away. And so, you know, I expressed to my parents, you know, I was feeling a little suicidal. So I got to go to the doctor, and they gave me the MMPI, and they said, well, there's this new medication called Prozac, and we think you should take it. And I was like, I'm in it. Like, I'll do whatever. Yeah. So take the Prozac, and it is like great. And I'm like, you know, it was right when Prozac Nation came out, the real famous book. And I was just like, I'm on trend. I'm feeling better. You know, like things were going well. Yeah. And so, you know, a little bit of that and a little bit of tough love from my parents. And I got through college. And, but you know, I was out in LA for a long time, you know, just kind of out there living that, you know, entertainment lifestyle, which is a lot of, going, kind of like MedMen, right? Like having a drink with every meeting and socializing and just a lot of all that. And so, you know, at some point I hit bottom and just had to get into recovery because, and I'm a big believer in sort of the dual diagnosis, which, right, it has a new name now, I think.
I don't know.
Does it have a new name? I don't know.
Every client, though, is dual diagnosis. Like, there's no one's just alcohol use disorder anymore.
I heard one guy from the podium say, I came from a totally normal family, and I'm like the only one in recovery who's ever said that. You know, there's like people.
There's usually more things going on.
People generally get here, like, honestly, like they've gone through some shit, you know. And so I got sober, and it was great. Thanks. And I was like, this is fantastic. I'm loving life. Yeah. You know, but then, you know, the pink cloud goes away. And then I started therapy. And
how far into recovery did you start therapy?
I started really hitting that hard at about 2 years because I felt like I'd gone through, I had been very thorough in my steps. Yeah. Like, I was a brat. I didn't like do it fast. Yeah. But I felt like I was thorough. And my sponsor said, you know, it's time for you to do some therapy. Yeah. And actually, you know, what was funny was I was doing a lot of therapy before I went to AA. And I had one therapist that was really lousy.
Lazy? I talk about the lazy therapist.
Yeah, lazy, lousy. I don't know if she was just really Freudian, but I would like come in and I would share everything that was going on with me. I mean, I was at a real bottom. And she would go, well, how does that make you feel?
Oh, my God.
And I would go, bitch, it doesn't make me feel good. That's why I'm here paying $125 an hour.
Help me get coping skills.
Help me. Don't just ask me how I feel. I feel shitty. Annoying. Yeah. So she was not good. But then I found another therapist who was actually quite good. Nice. And I went to her, like, I don't remember, like, going. I don't really even remember the first lady, I remember exactly what her office looked like. The second lady, I don't remember where her office was. I don't remember what her office looked like. But I just remember that I had this night where I said, you know, I got to do something different. And this was in 2000, I got out the yellow pages and I found the recovery group and I called the phone, the central office, and ring. And I said, I think I need to check this out. And so I went, and it was a great experience. And I think that was on a Sunday, and I went back to my therapist lady on Thursday, and she said, well, I think it's good that you're going to those meetings. And I think that, the only thing I would say is I just wouldn't date anyone for a while in those meetings. I think I would just really focus on yourself. And that seemed like good advice, And I'm glad she gave it to me, because I really thought at that time that the problem was that I didn't have a boyfriend. So
of course.
That's why I was having all these problems. Now, why I thought I needed recovery, I don't know. And then I got there, and there was a lot of cute guys. So I was like, well, maybe this is where God wants me to be. I don't know. But I did not date anyone the first year, which was good. Nice. And I just kind of dug in there. But, I think there were a lot of antidepressants that I tried, and some things worked and some things didn't work. And then during the first Trump administration, I can't believe there's been two, but I decided to go to treatment because it was COVID. Yeah. And I was so stir crazy and had to get out there. And my husband was like, you got to go. Yeah. Because I was like, basically, I had never really been an at-home drinker. Yeah. And so the COVID thing was just sitting at home drinking. Like, I was like,
it's different.
Wow. Yeah. This is a whole new thing that isn't really good. And so my husband's like, why don't you go to treatment? Yeah. So I ended up going to a fabulous place, and they put me on antidepressants again. Yeah. And I probably needed to be on antidepressants again. Yeah. And that has been 6 years now. And I think that the combination of hitting menopause, having been on these things for on and off these things since I was 18 years old, they just weren't really doing the trick, you know, because I feel like if you're in this recovery thing and that's going pretty well, and for me, I was just exhausted all the time. Yeah. And I did get diagnosed with hypothyroid after the birth of my daughter at 35. Yeah. So I had been on the hypothyroid medication for, 15, 18 years, you know. So, God, that's so long ago. Yeah, because my daughter's 20 now. Wow, crazy.
It goes by so fast.
Oh, my God, it goes so fast.
Ours is 3.5, and I'm like, stop. Yeah. Stop growing.
So I had this other friend in recovery, and I'm telling him, like, I'm just tired all the time. I don't have any get up and go, and these drugs aren't doing anything. And he's like, oh, you got to try what I'm doing. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm doing this ketamine therapy. Yeah. And he's also in recovery. Mm-hmm. And we don't know if we're cousins, this guy. It's my friend Kevin. But we both know that we both had a relative on the Mayflower with the same last name but different first names. So we think these guys were brothers. Yeah. And we think we're cousins. So anyway, but my buddy Kevin, he's like, you got to try this Spravato thing that I'm doing. It's really helped me. And I was like, because I had already gone to the doctor. First my GP, and then I went to a psychiatrist. I'm like, I have ADHD. I can't concentrate on anything. I've got this fatigue. I can't, I could barely work. Yeah. And so he says, you got to try this Spravato. So I sort of reluctantly, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. And talk to my sponsors. She's like, I don't know, but I mean.
Yeah, that's most people's reaction to that in recovery is like, I don't know if it works, or like it's the worst. You'll relapse on it. So it's wild. Like
Would you say it's controversial still in recovery circles?
It is. Yeah. And like
very.
Yeah. Because some people, I do know people who have used it, got take home nose spray, and then did go find heroin and like relapse because it was fentanyl now. Uh-huh. And so I do know people who have passed away, like the whole process of when it first started, like came out and was being pushed.
I don't know that the take it home is even an option now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard it is here in Austin.
Oh, wow.
I've known some people. Yeah. So it's, but it's the nose spray. It's not always. Like,
I will tell you what my experience is and what I think.
I'd love to hear it.
Is,
it sounds like it's working for you.
Yeah. I think the place that I'm going is quite legitimate because they do have some very strict policies in place. And I think that you should be working on this as like, this is your last resort. Mm-hmm. You've tried Prozac, you've tried some medications, you've tried exercise, right?
Yeah.
Like we have the studies. We know that if you have a group of people who are on antidepressants and you have a group of people exercising, it's going to be the same.
Yeah.
So if you're on the medicine and you're exercising, that's the magic bullet right there.
Double benefit.
But if you're doing both those, or you just can't even I couldn't even get myself to exercise because the fatigue was so bad that I would go exercise and then feel worse.
Yeah, more fatigue, yeah.
And so I go to this psychiatrist that my friend has recommended, and she says, well, here's what I think is going on with you. Because you have this history of ADHD and depression, I don't think it's either of those because you're pretty self-aware. You're not saying it's those things. I think what you have is neurovegetative symptoms of depression, right? And when you're in psychology school, you think of neurovegetative as something that schizophrenic people get, right?
Yeah.
When they get catatonic, that's what they're having is neurovegetative symptoms. Mm-hmm. Their brain chemistry isn't working for them.
Yeah.
So she said, I think you're having neurovegetative symptoms of depression, and that is exactly what Spravato targets.
Interesting.
So what Spravato does is it kind of goes into your brain and it starts to rewire things. Yeah. Now, I will say this is not one of those treatments that I think you need to take on lightly because it's a time commitment.
Yeah, because you have to go there for like an hour or two. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In the beginning, it's twice a week for 2 hours. Wow. You're spending 4 hours a week sitting in. Luckily, the chairs are very comfortable.
That's nice.
They have little comfy chairs that you go sit in. They have like little heat and even has a little vibration. Nice. But they just have them lined up in a row. And I think it's like 6 people
like
in this
IV
room.
bar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And it's real cute. This office has like little curtains between the chairs and it has a little light and you can turn the light on or off and a little fan. You can turn the fan on or off. So it's a very comfortable environment for it. And they come in, they take your blood pressure, and then they give you your first spray. Yeah. The first couple of weeks, I think it was just 2, and then after like 2 or 3 weeks, they added a third. Okay. So I'm on the full dose now. Okay. And
have you ever done the like intramuscle one or just the nose spray? Okay.
Only the nose spray. I like it because I like things that are FDA approved. I'm a big fan. I'm like, this is therapeutic and I need to do this the right way. So, you go there and really the first 40 minutes, it can be a pretty psychedelic experience. I would say for me, I like to put on my kind of, rave music and lean back the chair and chill out and listen to electronic music. My friend Kevin is more into punk music, so that's what he likes to listen to. Yeah. I love music videos, so I've been watching a lot of those. And it's just, I will say that after, I think, about how many weeks? 12 weeks. Wow. I think I had like my top of the heap because it was like I did it and I went on an empty stomach and it was like, woo, it was so strong. I was like, wow. And it's never been a bad experience. Okay. It's a weird experience. And I think if you maybe have a history of never having done something like that before, illegal drugs. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the rave scene, so I definitely had some of those experiences.
Yeah. Did you ever do ketamine on the streets?
No, I never did. But I've done other stuff that's similar. It's ketamine adjacent. Yeah. It's very, but it feels very contained. I think when you're out there, not in recovery, you're running around, maybe you're looking for more drugs.
Yeah, you're not dosing it correctly.
Yeah. You're out there, you're living the life. And for me, this felt like a very contained, calm experience.
Okay. Because that is a question I get, is it like a bad trip? Like,
not for me. Not for
people
me.
have bad
But
trips.
I will say this, I came to this experience with years of therapy and years of recovery.
Right.
Years of these things. And if you're coming in there and you're like, well, I'm going to do ketamine because that's the easier, softer way, I don't think that's what you need to do.
That's a lot of times what we hear. Yeah.
Right. I don't think I don't think it's going to be helpful for you, because if you're talking about basically kind of reestablishing some patterns in your brain that have gotten off, like, we're working with neurotransmitters here.
Yeah.
And my psychiatrist over there are really like, one day she was out and the other psychiatrist talked to me and she was like, you can journal. And I was like, I don't want to journal. I just want to listen to my music,
Yeah.
I think sometimes people are trying to make it a little different than what it should be. I mean, I think there are other forms of therapy that are more helpful for trauma. Like, if you have true trauma, I think EMDR first.
Yes, I love EMDR.
Is probably a better bet, right?
Interesting, because we have people who they think that ketamine is going to like fix it, because that's kind of how it's promoted here in Austin. Is like, you get the ketamine dose and then you like do therapy and process your trauma. That's what's kind of being marketed around town. Or like that it'll just fix your brain for you. Like, kidding.
I think it can fix brains if they have neurovegetative symptoms.
Very specific, yeah.
It's a very specific thing.
symptom, not like a whole brain rewiring.
Yes. Well, and I think when people think a drug is going to fix everything, that's a whole different problem.
Right. Yeah.
And one thing I will tell you, being a therapist as many years as I have been, is that behavioral change is like, that's the hardest thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like getting someone to exercise, like, that's the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And, and I will say, I'm really glad we have all these GLP-1s now, because
Curious your thoughts on those too.
Yeah. Because they're giving people a chance for the exercise to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've heard it like takes away the food noise and like actually is doing more for the ED community than it was expected. It was like, people were scared of it at first.
Well, I think for a lot of times, people, and I mean kind of the royal we, sort of treated obesity like a self-control problem.
A moral downfall,
when it never was
like
that.
Addiction.
Addiction. And it never was that. So at least I feel like, kind of like antidepressants, like, it gives you a leg up out of the hole. You still have to crawl out of the hole.
Yeah, you still have the behavior change has to happen.
The behavior change has to happen, right? If you are in an abusive relationship, getting ketamine therapy isn't going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
Except for give you a chance to maybe go sit in a chair and kind of dissociate for an hour a week.
Right.
Which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. And I will tell you, I was just telling the girls who do it, you spend some time with them because they come and take your blood pressure pretty regularly. And I was telling the lady, I was like, I'm listening to more music the last couple months than I have in years. And I love music. Yeah. But it gives me a chance to sit there and listen to music for 2 hours a week. Yeah. And I'm not really sure if it's the ketamine or the music that's healing me.
Yeah. Can you talk a little more about like the extending benefits of it rather than just the event?
Well, I can. I mean, I will say I started this, I guess, mid-February. So I can't tell you my own personal story past today. But I will say that I feel like my neurovegetative symptoms have shifted. Yeah. I have so much more energy. I'm able to focus. I have fatigue, but I feel like my fatigue is appropriate for a 55-year-old woman, whereas before I was feeling like I was like 80, like couldn't function, like couldn't get out of bed, couldn't get anything done. Yeah. Just a lot of aches and pains, and now, because I feel like you get, how if you sit in a chair for too long, like everything kind of hurts. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like now I can get up and move, so I don't have those same aches and pains that I was having. So I will say that I think if I think that, the pleasurable side of sitting in that chair does wear off, because I remember the first month I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of go, get a little stoned out, for a couple times a week.
Right.
But then it's like my life kept getting bigger and bigger, and I kept taking on more projects. And now I'm like, oh God, I have to go do that again today.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think I have time to be a drug addict. I
Yeah.
really don't. Like, because it's given me the get up and go and the
Yeah.
energy to get, like, I'm remodeling a house now, and it's like, get up and do things and get up and, get up and go. And,
So do you feel like are you like at the end of your treatment? Is there like a taper off or?
yeah, the next taper off is to go to every other week. And then I think it's like every 2 weeks. And then you just do, they call it tune-ups,
Wow.
where you go month, 2 months, whatever, to tune up.
Interesting.
Because, I think there has to be this uninterrupted series to really go in there and help
Build
with
it
that rewiring. And I wish I haven't taken a psychopharm class in so long.
Yeah,
so I haven't. I'm telling you this all from me sitting in the chair doing the ketamine, and not necessarily from a textbook, but essentially what the psychiatrist said is, they've found that it is rewiring some things in your brain. A lot of like kind of what EMDR does, is that there is actually those building blocks that are getting sort of, the word she used was rewired.
Which EMDR does. It's a little more active. And that's, we had a client this week that was like, I think I want to do this. I was like, why don't we try EMDR first? Because we offer that here.
Right.
And maybe also look into TMS as well and see if that is something. It's also a time commitment though. Maybe more so than the Spravato.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And I think I would also look at the outcomes. Like, I haven't looked at the outcomes versus TMS versus EMDR. And I think also you got to look at where that person is in their recovery, right? Are they solid?
Yeah.
Are they happy to be there? Or are they
people are early recovery with us? So
yeah.
hard to be like, go do ketamine.
I would say, especially for someone new to who's relatively new to recovery, and when I say that, I mean first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Just work on your program.
Yeah.
Just work on getting stable. Just work on getting stable relationships.
Foundation.
Go to therapy. Get a sponsor. If you're finding that you're depressed, go see a psychiatrist and try some antidepressants. Take those regularly, not just when you feel bad.
Right. All the time.
Every day. If it says every day, you take it every day.
Yeah.
You don't vary. And if that one doesn't work for you, then you try a different one, because everyone's body is different and everyone responds differently. But I will tell you, man, exercise.
Yeah, I'm very pro exercise. I actually just saw a training that I might take this year. It's trauma-informed weightlifting.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds really cool. And it was like how to use clinical techniques in weightlifting and like the benefits and what it does to your brain.
Love that.
Because I've been getting into like fitness and weightlifting and I love it. And I don't get like runner's high or like the workout high, but I definitely like feel different in my like body and brain when I do work out.
You know what the ketamine kind of feels like is, have you ever been to like a really good spinning class, like Soul Cycle? Where
I used to do Orange Theory, which was like kind of hit.
It's a little bit like that. So if you do have like a really good session in Orange Theory or like spinning, you really get that runner's high at the end.
Yeah.
To me, if you turn that up just a notch, that's what the ketamine is.
Interesting.
On sort of a normal day. Like every once you'll have that, ooh, that one was a doozy.
Yeah.
but it's just a very pleasurable time of sitting there. Now I have heard some people down the chairs, like having a day. And I said, do people ever come in here and have bad reactions? She said most of the time it's like they threw up. So it can cause a little bit of stomach upset for some people.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty rare. I think most people kind of respond to it pretty well.
Interesting.
So my experience has been good, but I will say that I think if you're new to recovery, just do that for a while. Just let that group experience, let that be your thing. And if you don't feel like you're getting that, like sort of that warm fuzzy feeling when you're going to meetings, try different meetings.
Yeah.
Right? Try to find a group that works for you, whether that's a women's group or a Lambda group or a more churchy group or a less churchy group.
Right.
You know, when I was working in treatment centers, I would get a couple different people that came in and they would talk about AA. They'd say, well, I just don't think AA is for me. And I'd say, well, how come? And they go, well, it's not Jesus. It's not enough Jesus.
Yeah.
I go, oh, it's not enough Jesus.
Well, it's not a church.
Okay. Well, let's, you know, find a way to get more Jesus in there for you, or to get more Jesus in your life. Like maybe you could go to AA Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you can go to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a way to get more Jesus in it.
Yeah, do both.
Right. And especially in Texas, I would get that a lot. Not so much in California. In California, what I would get is, well, but I'm not into Jesus.
It's too much Jesus.
We hear
too
that-
much
a lot of that
Jesus.
too.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
too
But
much. It's too
usually,
much.
do you notice when those people who are like against it, you're like, well, did you actually like go and try it? They're like, no. This one lady looked at me weird, so I never went back. I was like, "Pfft, you're not even trying it, so you can't say you don't like it. Like, go get a sponsor, go like try the steps."
Somebody looked at me.
Yeah, literally. It's the same as like church. It's like somebody looked at me wrong or did me dirty. It's like, well, that's okay. Is that true spirituality?
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think AA, you know, I feel like people aren't embracing it maybe as much as they used to 20 years ago, but I feel like they need it more.
Yeah, it is kind of like coming out of style.
Yeah, but I
trend,
feel
yeah.
like people need it more because they are so socially awkward, the younger generation now. And I can say that because I have a 20-year-old daughter. They are so anxious, and they think everyone is
Avoidant.
Yeah, they're avoidant. They think
anxious
everyone is
avoidant.
watching them. They
Yeah.
don't know how to look people in the eye. They don't know how to shake hands. And you know, I got sober in LA, where you know, I always say LA is like Mecca for AA versus you know like India for you know Muslims. It's like it's like ground zero for AA, and you can find every variety of AA in LA.
Yeah.
And I dabbled in a lot of them, and you know, but one thing that was pretty consistent is, you know, you go to a meeting, you go around and you shake people's hands, and you introduce yourself,
people.
and you talk to people. I mean, you know, I'm not saying it's Toastmasters or anything, but you will learn how to talk to people if you get to AA.
Yeah.
And we know that it's a spiritual malady, right? We know that people in recovery are not relating to other people because they're too busy relating to their substance, right? Their substance is their first love and their higher power.
Yeah.
And so they need to learn how to relate to people to be in the world. And so I just don't think you can get that on a Zoom meeting like you can in person.
What do you think it is with the younger generation? Having a daughter who's that age, like it's very common to have that like anxious and avoidant style.
I think a lot of this started with reality television, to be honest. Because you can think about American Idol. What are they doing? They're just sitting there judging people.
Yeah. Interesting.
They're just judging people. And then you got America's Got Talent that they're judging you.
And social media, we're all judging each
And
other.
yeah, and what was the modeling when they're judging your looks and, you know, how you pose. And it's all this television that was
Internalizing.
judgy. And then you go, after that came social media, right? Which again,
Put something up.
they
and get
didn't like
judged.
my thing, or, you know, and I have a friend who has a daughter similar to my daughter's age, and she's a little overweight. And she said these people would just write terrible things on her Instagram. Like, who's that fat cow in the picture?
Oh my God. What?
And she wasn't even that overweight. It wasn't like she was 300 pounds.
Yeah.
She's just a little bigger girl.
Jeez.
But I was just like, God, you know, because obviously as an adult, you don't get that so much, but you can see it out there. And so that's what they think that people are thinking.
Right.
And maybe they are thinking that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But most of the people that I meet are so self-obsessed. They're not really thinking of anyone but themselves.
Yeah. I do think the younger generation, just the internet in general, people are more like, have more audacity to say what they think when like
That
we were
is
taught not
for
to say everything.
That is for sure.
There's less filter on the internet.
Well, that is for sure. And I think, you know, one of the things that my husband says, which, you know, I tend to agree with him, is like, you know, the internet didn't bring these people out. They were just always there. Now they just feel emboldened to say what they're
Yeah.
thinking, you know?
Yeah. It gave people
But
a
the
place.
truth is, if you're in a group and someone's being that judgy, just don't be friends with them. Just go find someone who's not that way.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I've always stressed with my daughter is, you know, because she would kind of be in high school or be in college, no one will talk to me. It's like, well, you're going to have to make the first move.
Did you talk to them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you talk to them? And she's gotten really good at it now.
Nice.
Yeah, she's gotten really good at it now. I'm really proud of her because she kind of had to bust through that. And then, of course, they had the COVID years,
Yeah.
which were
forced
terrible
inside. Yeah.
for them. I mean, it was great for my daughter because she missed 7th grade, which, heck, if you're going to miss a year of school,
It's great.
hell yeah, 7th grade. I was like, that's the year to miss for
The
sure.
most awkward year of our lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
6th, 7th, and 8th grade were horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrible times.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible times. So anyway, ketamine.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about it more? Or have we talked about it?
No, I love your perspective of like being in recovery and experiencing it. I like how your psychiatrist says it's the neurovegetative. I really like that
I do
perspective.
I do too, because
It's less scary.
even when she did it, I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't even like to take Tylenol. Like, I'm pretty picky, you know? But she said it's really going to target that.
Interesting.
I think she was very realistic about it. It is not the kind of thing where you're going to go in there and it's going to shock you sober or solve all your problems
magic
or
bullet.
mend all those relationships, right? That's the recovery work that does that. That's the therapy that does that.
Yeah.
Sitting in a chair might work on some chemistry in your brain,
Yeah.
but most of your problems are probably caused by your actions or lack of actions.
Yeah.
Not-
And early sobriety, like your brain chemicals are all fucked. So
Totally.
like you said, like 2-3 years, like give your brain some time to like.
And I always tell people new in recovery, they go, oh, I'm so anxious. I go, well, of course you are.
Yeah.
Because you're feeling things for the first time
Right.
that you've never felt
You're
before.
not using drugs to turn it off.
Yeah, because before when you had a feeling, you just went and used or drank or whatever you like to do to get rid of that feeling.
Yes.
So now when you have a feeling, you're actually experiencing the feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I first got sober, I think I had 6 or 9 months, and I was like in my apartment, I had the music on, and I was just feeling happy. And I remember feeling like, wow, this is a feeling I don't remember having in a long time. Just feeling happy and it being a natural, just happy contentedness. Because I hadn't allowed myself to have that feeling.
Yeah, when you numb the negative feelings, you're numbing the positive as well.
Exactly. If it's chemical, it's not really. And I will say too that when I'm doing the ketamine, I don't know that I am sitting there feeling feelings. Like that's not really what I've noticed. And I wouldn't say my friend has given me the same feedback either. That you're just kind of there. There's not a lot of like, and I know that there's this whole like sales pitch, shall we say, that you're going to sit there and like experience all these feelings and journal about it. I don't see that.
Interesting.
I don't see that, at least in my own personal experience. Now, you might have someone else come in and go, oh my God.
Right.
This has been, I have this journal full of things that I've written in my ketamine session.
Yeah.
I've seen people in there with a pen and paper.
That is something that, I've more often heard is you get the injection or the nose spray and then you do the therapy while induced in that state. And it's supposed to like release a lot of things, but
I would say for me, the thing that it has brought up more than anything is that I really need to go out there and dance more. Yeah.
more like positive kind of goals.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love doing it when I was younger. I danced like ballet and stuff and all jazz and all the things when I was young and teenager. And then in college, I was always out at the clubs dancing. And it's like, I don't know. I think I'm going to start going to some of these like coffee raves and just dance for an hour. Dance
It's kind of like EMDR, where like the goal is not just to like release the trauma, it's the future templating of like, what are you replacing this with? And like, what brings you joy? And like, that just kind of comes when you start closing out those pathways that are like trauma based. the positive stuff starts to come out just naturally. And like, you're like, whoa, where did that come from? It's like the dancing sounds like you kind of closing out some negative pathways and moving into like the future template.
Yeah.
Using the EMDR language.
Well, and I heard, I think it was, I can't remember who, someone on the internet the other day was saying, you know, there's a few things that are magic. It's like walking in water and dancing. Like those are the magic things. Like no one's swimming in Barton Springs feeling all depressed, right? Like it's a sunny day, you're out there, you're swimming, you walked, right? Yeah. I mean, you walked over there, right? But it's like about taking action. Like there's no chapter in the big book that says into thinking. Yeah. Like no one, into zooming. Like no one has gotten where they need to be by just sitting around thinking about it. You have to go out there and move your body. And I'm a big believer in that. And, you know, it's funny, you were talking about something earlier. It made me think one of the things that originally I was going to look into doing was dance therapy, because there are dance therapists out there that do it. But, you know, I also had to think about supporting myself. So I did not do that, but it's still an area of interest to me.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah. Because I am actually a certified yoga teacher and Pilates teacher. And like, I really, really believe in movement. But, you know, I just think that it's almost like, you know, if you really want a recovery, it's kind of got to be the Chinese buffet, right? It's like it may take you may have to do some medicine. Yeah. You may need to go to AA or something similar to that, some kind of group support. Yeah. You probably are going to need to exercise or do some kind of movement. And I think when I say exercise, sometimes people think I'm talking about like, you have to go to the gym and you have to lift lots of weight and be a gym bro. No, just take a walk. Yeah. Just walk your dog.
Movement, like, get your blood moving.
Chances are if your dog is happy, you're going to be happy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I always find. Like, I never want to walk the dog. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, that was so nice. You know? Yeah. So you just have to move your body. And, you know, I would be interested to see how the ketamine works with people with chronic pain.
Oh, have you noticed like less pain?
I think the less pain is because I'm moving more though. Because I've got, it's not as bad as it used to be, but I used to have really bad lower back problems. And my doctor would always say, well, you know, the worst thing you can do for lower back pain is nothing. Yeah. And I was like, oh. So I always remember that. Yeah. I always go, when my back hurts, I need to walk around. Like I will tell you that when I had a private practice and I was sitting in a chair for hours and hours, my back was never worse. Yeah. Because I wasn't getting up and walking around enough.
And stuck.
Yeah. So like getting up. And in fact, one of the first jobs that I had when I got out of school was I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was very pregnant too. I was like 7 months pregnant. Like there was no maybe she's pregnant. I was really pregnant. Yeah. And I had sent out some resumes because I thought, well, I kind of feel like I need to get out there. We had moved from LA to Dallas, and I'd gotten my all my hours done, and I said, I'm just gonna get some resumes out there. So I get a call from a little recovery place in Dallas called Homeward Bound, and their group is, you know, pretty lower socioeconomic program. Yeah. But man, I loved that place because I showed up and they put me on the adult men's wing. And I don't know, I was giving off some kind of like pregnant mama energy, and these guys just loved me.
Ate it up.
Yeah. And they, you know, they were also stuck in that place. It wasn't the nicest, you know, recovery place. And it was a inpatient. And so I go, you know, let's go out and take a walk. And so I would just take these guys out and we just kind of walk around the block if it was a nice day outside, and we would talk. And, you know, it was when a lot of that research was coming out about men and how men do better when, like, in hard conversations, if you're not facing them. So like if you're driving, like that's a good time to talk to a guy. So I was like, that way we're walking next to each other, not facing each other. Yeah. And these guys they really responded well to that. And it was just a really good experience. But I just think there's a lot of magic in walking. And now I was probably like breaking like 50 major HIPAA laws, but I wasn't like advertising like I'm a therapist. There's just a guy with a pregnant lady walking around, you know. Yeah. If you do that, you don't want to try to, you know, maintain some
We do have waivers for walk and talk therapy because we've had some clients that want to do that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's kind of popular nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially since COVID. I feel like it really popped off. People are like,
well, you know, people have such, and people have such busy lives that if they're taking an hour out of their day to do therapy, that maybe they also want to get their walk in at the same time.
Keep it active.
Yeah. Yeah. They've got kids and activities, and it just, I think that so many people are so overscheduled. Like my husband is looking at jobs right now, and there was a place that he was talking to, and more of a corporate style setting, and they wanted him to work 53-minute sessions for up to 35 people a week. And I said, when are you going to pee?
Yeah, that's very specific.
7 minutes between 8 clients?
Oh, man.
When are you going to pee?
That's insanity.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a burnout factory. It's a burnout factory. So, you know, all these corporate people are coming into this space and bringing their corporate ideas about what therapy should be. Right. And that therapists somehow are able to handle 35 hours of direct patient care a week, which is insane. Yeah. I think 25 is about the max to be good at your job.
Yeah, that's what we do is 25 roughly. Give or take, you know.
I'm sure a lot of the people there just do how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
Right?
Right, because you're so burnt out. Right. You're not actually present with your clients.
Therapy like that. Yeah. It's just like Pilates and yoga teachers, right? They kind of max out at a 30, I mean, would be a really, really full time. But you know, probably more like 20 to 25 would be like sort of a full-time job for that kind of thing, because you're walking, you're talking, you're looking at all your practitioners, you're programming your classes, you're, you know, talking to people after class about their injuries and stuff. It's like not everyone was meant to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if
anyone was.
Mike disagrees.
Well, to me, 40 hours a week's a part-time job. Very different.
I think the clinical facing though, like people facing, like it's hard to go over 25, 30 hours a week because it can be so draining, whereas like computer work or like other types of work, it's less draining because you're not having to be so physically present.
I think one of my controversial hot takes on AA2 is like the 90 meetings in 90 days. Like I always just say even God rested on the 7th day. Yeah. Like I think 6 days a week is sufficient when you're new. Maybe on that Sunday you go to church or you
all gonna fall apart on that day.
Yeah, you go swimming or whatever. Like make plans with a friend, maybe a friend in recovery, and you go do something that's not a meeting. Like one of the reasons, like my husband really, like if he had his druthers, I would, you know, kind of go to church every Sunday. But my problem with it is people who go to church, that's all they want to do. They want to meet you at church.
Yeah, it's like
they want to do more church. And it's like, I don't want to do that all the time. Yeah. I do my hour. Like we're actually looking on finding a church right now. And after an hour, I'll like point at my watch and I'll be like, it doesn't say Jesus doesn't say in the Bible, church has to be more than an hour. He doesn't say that. At least maybe, I don't know. I'm not that good at the Bible or anything, but I could. Yeah, if it's more than an hour, I'm probably not going to go.
Yeah. We just got back into church the last few years, and we are both prone to leadership, and people see that and like latch on to it. So it's been nice to be part of a church that doesn't do that. They're like, we're good if you just want to show up and like be part of like the congregation and not be involved. I'm like, thank you.
Yes.
I don't have time to volunteer.
We kind of made that mistake once. And also there's, I think, I'm not willing to like commit as much financially to that as maybe other people or my husband. I don't know. When they don't pay taxes, I just can't see giving as much as their expectation is, shall we say. I don't mind giving. It's just, I don't know.
I'm also like, I we do a lot to like give back to the community and like the world in general, and we help a lot of people. So like in my personal life, I'm kind of more selfish and like less about helping and giving back to like my people and like my family.
I will say though that it is so difficult nowadays. Like, and I hate to be like this old lady that comes in here and says everything is so expensive these days, but everything is so expensive. Oh my God. It really is. And so, you know, I think when you're talking about, oh, I should give to the church or go get my medical care. Well, you should probably go get your medical care.
Yeah, you should get from abundance, not ever from
yes,
like non-abundance.
and I don't know that that's the expectation at every church.
Yeah.
So
there's like controversy about like it should hurt, like it should be a sacrifice, but there's balance.
I think there should be balance.
Any church that's telling you it should hurt, don't go to that church.
That's kind of what I think.
The concept of tithing is supposed to be that you're giving without awareness as to what it's being utilized for. So like if I offer to you, I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna give you $1,000. If I say like, I'll give you $1,000, but you have to spend it on this, that's like I'm paying for something via you.
Right.
But to tithe is like, hey, I'm going to give you $1,000. Do whatever you want with it. If you want to bless somebody else and give $1,000 to somebody else, do that. If you want to use it to pay off this bill, do that. That's the point of the tithing is like I'm taking it off of self and putting it on your higher power or God of that. Look, I'm giving my first 10% to you, and this is the avenue in which I'm going to give it. I don't care what happens to it after this. It's not mine to give. It was yours in the first place. So I'm a real big believer, and you should always try and take focus off of self. I think tithe is a great way to do that, and biblically that's the way it preaches it. It has nothing to do, like if you believe God is all powerful, He don't need your little bullshit money.
Right.
The concept is you just being a good steward of what's not even yours.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
preach.
I love that. Yeah, and it's funny. It's like it comes up so much more in Texas than it ever did in California. You know,
I see that.
it's definitely like a different thing here. And I think that in California, you know, you're not, the 12-step recovery groups aren't really competing with the church like they do here. And I know that's like a really weird word to say, but there are a lot of these church groups that, you know, they do the Celebrate Recovery, which I think can be a great thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I don't know. I don't think you want it to be a generalist. Like I wouldn't want my recovery just to be like, well, these people will just help me with, I just think it needs to be more specialized for it to work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very like, I don't know if it's like German or what, but I'm very into efficiency. And I think AA is just like, AA and NA is just like super efficient because it's so specific and it just like gets right down to the root causes and it gives you some very actionable steps to do. And I think that if people don't go and investigate it a little bit, you know, they're missing out on something, you know, quite powerful, which, you know, back when I showed up in 2000, you know, we used to call it the most important spiritual movement of the century, you know, and I think it's lost a little bit of its mystique in that way. And I think part of it is how it's portrayed in the media. Yeah. It's always portrayed in the media as a meeting, but I don't know that meetings have been the most powerful part of my recovery. I think
it's more like the meeting after the meeting.
The meeting after the meeting to me seems like the most important part of recovery. And I was going to also bring up, since we're doing our ketamine Spravato talk today, is just the Matthew Perry book. And I think a lot of people have this idea about it from his death. Yeah. Which I met him. I didn't know him, but I did meet him out there. Nice. You know, all the celebrities dabble in meetings. They have their own special celebrity meetings, but they'll come down the hill every once in a while and they'll go to meetings and sometimes they'll talk. I've seen some great speakers, and from all accounts, he was a very nice man. Yeah. He seemed very nice. But I just don't think he ever got AA. And I remember it made me think, I had a lady that I knew whose son had died of a drug overdose. And she really had a lot of animosity towards AA and the recovery community. And, you know, that her son, died because it didn't work.
Yeah.
And, sometimes people die of cancer because they have a disease, and sometimes the chemo doesn't work.
Right. Doesn't mean you get mad at the chemo.
Right. And I felt like Matthew Perry, and I did not read his book, but I knew some people who did. And I think that he was a little maybe judgmental in it towards recovery communities, AA, and that, you got to remember this is a deadly disease that kills people every day. Every day. In fact, I knew someone who had and this was recently this year, whose younger sister died. She was in her late 40s of alcoholism. Wow. Just never got cured, never found the cure, never reached out to, I don't know what her experience was with it, but I mean, people are dying of this disease every day.
Right.
It's no different than cancer.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah.
People die of it all the time. People die of diabetes all the time.
Yeah.
They may get all the drugs and still die.
Well, I think it's easier to be mad at the program than your son, because like the whole program says like it works if you work it. It's like, really, she should be mad at her son for not working the program.
I don't know.
If you want to blame,
I still think
just blame the disease.
I still think some people who work it die, just like some people who get chemotherapy die. Right? It's like and I always hate to hear like, oh, you must not have been doing everything right. There's plenty of people who do everything right, and they still die.
Right. Like, who is there to blame?
Right. Whenever you hear these people that die young, aren't they always like the ones who are running marathons and eating vegetarian, and then they get cancer? Like, why them?
Right.
We don't know. It's a lot we don't know.
Yeah.
I agree.
What else do you guys want to talk about?
Do you have any other questions?
No, I like that. I agree. I think there's always a ton of variables to every scenario, and human nature is we always want to just have somewhere that we can place the blame. We want to personify problems.
Yeah,
it's more like solid if you can have like something to blame.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think it's always interesting. I mean, I view it a little differently with stuff, but I think people constantly want to point the finger instead of just like, how can we help this not happen again?
Yeah. Accepting it and like, how can I be part of the solution?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think one thing, very similar, talking about the amount of deaths that comes from this. It's like we have everybody that want to be in the streets protesting about gun laws and stuff and gun safety, and I think it's a worthwhile conversation. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's like alcohol and drugs have been killing people for years and years and years at a much higher rate, and I don't see nobody out there protesting Budweiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. During the pandemic, I always would tell my husband, it's like, we're on the front lines of the opioid epidemic, and nobody's like banging pots and pans for us therapists. Like, I felt like, we don't get a lot of the sort of juice that other people get as far as like, and I know, trust me, I don't want to put on like Ebola gear or anything. That's why I didn't end up in a medical profession. Is I don't like any kind of blood or bodily fluids. So I was like, I think counseling is more for me. Yeah. But it is one of those professions that people always go, oh, well, that must be such a wonderful profession because, it's so fulfilling and it doesn't even matter what you get paid. And I just kind of want to go, we have bills like other people. Yeah. Like we really do need to get paid just like other people with master's degrees need to get paid. Yeah. Like it's important. And
it's also like not an easy job. People you just talk to people, just listen to people all day. It's like
not exactly.
I'm holding a lot of space for people. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine your most problematic friend. Imagine having dinner with them 8 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great way to put it.
It's a lot.
Draining. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny too, because I think, I feel like I was trained really well. I had like just such like really good supervisors when I was in my traineeship and stuff. So I never really took it home. And like every once in a while, my husband would be, thinking about something at work. I'm like, I close that door. I lock the door. I don't think about your problems. Yeah. I really, I got pretty good at that.
That's great. Yeah.
And I think as a new therapist, that can be really hard.
It is really hard. I feel like that's a big part of, I'm a supervisor now and like teaching the associates how to like compartmentalize, and apparently I do it so good because we're in business together and life together, and our couples therapist was like, y'all are really good at compartmentalizing. He was like shocked because we would be like arguing about this. I'm like, okay, like what's next? He's like, wow. I'm like, I don't know, I want to sit at it, like practice.
I mean, and it's funny because like when you're married to a therapist, people will go, oh, that's so funny. Like you must.
How is that for you?
Yeah, you must like analyze each other a lot. I'm like, well, no, because my husband's not a nut job. Like.
And also, like, he should pay me to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's work. You don't go home and, like, do data analyst stuff in your
I always think it's
like,
funny
if
you tell people they're a therapist, sometimes their reaction is always like, oh, you really got to talk to my sister, or, oh, yes. My mother-in-law really needs you.
Yes. I'm like, no, thank you.
It's really funny.
I'll give people referrals, but yeah, please don't.
Well, and you touched on something, and I'm trying to remember what the modality is called, but there's this idea of like externalizing problems that I loved. I took a class on this in school, and I thought it was so great.
Like parts work, like IFS, where there's like the wounded child or like the exile, the firefighter.
Oh, what was it called? You got to remember, I graduated in 2005, so it's been a long time since I named all these modalities. But I love this idea of externalizing things because, right, like when we talk about the obesity, like we can give it a name, like Henry.
Yeah, a part, yeah.
Henry makes me overeat.
Yeah.
Right? Those kind of things. And I love it if you do this with particularly with your anxiety, right? You can, we were talking about anxious kids earlier. What made me think of it is all these kids are so anxious. And I would always tell my daughter, like, why don't you take a vacation from your anxiety for a while?
Yeah.
You can always come back to it. You can always come back to it later. It will be there. You know, and all those little CBT things that we learn and REBT things, they really are effective, especially for anxiety.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are suffering with anxiety when if they could find a good therapist doing the right thing. And I don't like it when therapists put themselves out there and they go, oh, I do CBT. Oh, really? Do you have your patients put pen to paper?
Right.
No. Well, then it's not CBT.
Yeah. One of our therapists is classically trained in CBT and it's like very active and very intense. It's not just like passive. Like
if you come into my office,
your thoughts and your feelings go together. Like
no, we're getting out a worksheet.
Yeah.
Don't come to me with more problems. You're just going to get more worksheets.
Yeah.
When I say it's like about like behavior change, that's what I'm talking about, right? We're going to look at this problem. We're going to break it down. We're going to be efficient.
Right.
And we're going to solve this problem. Right?
Yeah.
But sure, not the problem. The person is not the problem. The problem is the problem. And if you can work with a counselor to get down to what is the problem, right? And we do this in AA. Like this is like my next thing that I'm like really want to do. I want to write a book that's like the 12 steps over here and CBT over here and how there's so much overlap.
Needed. That is so needed because I don't know about in Dallas or California, but Austin, there's very few therapists who do both mental health and addiction.
It's very hard to find.
Can cross that. And I feel like that's something that we do well here is like something that I've integrated. Like all our therapists, even like a lot of us aren't in recovery, but I'm like, you're going to read the big book. You're going to learn the 12 steps. You're going to see how it's very similar to the CBT process and like the DBT, just different wordage. And so, that's very needed.
I think please do it. I think the character defects are really just a way to name those problems, right? It's the people pleasing that's the problem. And you can name the people pleasing Harvey if you want to. Like we can tease this out and we can do something with it. We don't have to sit there and let the same problem over and over and over come into our life and cause us issues, right? It's like, let's get down to these little things that are going to help us to get better, but we're not going to get better unless we behave different.
And at first, like with the first few steps, right, you're accepting help from a higher power or just a therapist. Like, you have to like be willing to make change, and then you like make change. And then the end of it, which is usually the end of therapy, is like, how do I integrate into society and like interpersonal effectiveness? So it's the same process through the steps. Like,
well, and I will
CBT, a CBT, like
it really is. And I will
path.
tell you that, like, even in sobriety, like, I keep learning things. Like, a lot of times, like, I have to learn, like, to keep my mouth shut. Like, I'm a therapist. I love to talk. I could talk all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on here. I could probably come back in a month and talk again. I could talk a lot.
We have 8 months of podcasts.
And honestly, right? And you might be. But honestly, that's one of the things that patients would always say is they'll say, I like, you're such a good therapist because you talk to me.
Yeah.
You're active. You help me with things.
Yeah. We just had a client who's for 20 years going to therapy. And we just figured out that they never addressed their childhood trauma. And they're like, why am I so anxious and depressed? Bro, you never looked at this. Your therapist is crazy for not looking at that. Very inactive, lazy therapist.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah.
People want to be seen. They want the solutions.
But I think we get a lot, and I think the lazy therapist also comes from probably a lot of this corporate bullshit where they want you to see 35 people a week.
Yeah.
That's
burnt out, lazy, or just uneducated, untrained properly.
Probably all of the above in some of them, and I think a lot of it was, some of these older therapists, right? They really came out of the Freudian stuff where it was just like, oh, you just let people talk and they solve their own problems.
Right.
I don't think that works.
Speed it up a little more.
Yeah. I don't think that. I just don't think that sitting around. If I was going to sit around and talk to myself and solve my problems, I can do that by myself.
Right.
I don't need to pay someone to do that.
Yeah. But people think it works because a therapist says it works.
Sure.
But so they keep going and then they're still stuck in the cycles because they're not finding solution.
I think a lot of that was sort of this intellectualism that started off that way. Yeah. I think also a lot of it was sort of the gender roles, right? It was like this man was going to fix the women's problem by listening to her. Yeah. It's funny, again, Mad Men, right? On the show Mad Men, how she goes to the psychiatrist, and then after the session, the psychiatrist calling the husband. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's like not helping her.
Women are hysterical. They need to talk everything out.
Yeah, not helping.
Yeah.
So I love that technique.
Death to the passive therapist era.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, I think you can bring this idea of externalizing problems into couples therapy as well, because that was actually the class narrative therapy. That's what it was, narrative therapy, which was also like, this guy was such a good teacher, and he talked about how, you can write these stories about your life and you can edit it. And I will tell you that when I did that, I never went to treatment the first time I got into recovery. Nice. I just showed up. Yeah. But the second time I was like, I'm feeling like a crazy shut-in because of COVID, so I'm going to go do 18
extra help.
I just went a little place 18 days, and it was really nice, and I enjoyed it. And then I needed to come home because I was like, I can't live with a bunch of strangers anymore. But part of what they have you do there is they literally have you, kind of write your story down from the get-go. Yeah. And I really like doing that, especially after, having more time, or more, what's the word I'm looking? Not more time necessarily, but more life experience. Life experience. And, seeing ways that, you can go in there and re-edit your story, So I think that can be a very powerful vehicle for people. Yeah. And I think that's something that you could even use in like the ketamine kind of way, is you could be working on that stuff outside of it. Right. And then you come into the ketamine session and maybe you reflect on that, or maybe you think about it. I will say I've done some reflecting.
Nice.
It's not super active, but it's just a way to honestly it's almost like a meditation for 2 hours for me, because I don't have to think about anyone. I don't look at any of the messages coming in on my phone. I don't look at social media.
Yeah.
I just have 2 hours for me where I just sit there and be still.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if the whole world didn't just have an hour to themselves, if we wouldn't have a better place. To just do whatever you want to do. Just listen to music or write a poem or read a book or whatever. We get so busy. And I think that meditative time is sorely lacking in our culture. And
I think a lot of our culture is reactive. And so like the narrative therapy, like you're talking about, like taking an active role to edit how you want to. And I think we can do that in our day-to-day life as well. And I think people feel powerless often. So, but it's like, well, life is what you make it. Like you can take an hour if you want to every day, like figure it out.
Right.
You have to sacrifice something.
And I think where it gets wacky, right, is people have to set boundaries with people to do that. You have to go, you know what? No, tomorrow I'm going to take an hour for myself.
Yeah.
And you have to tell your partner you're taking the kids for an hour and I'm going to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just don't want to do that. Or there's this like kind of, and not every situation is the same, but it's this self-importance, right? Where people, a lot of times if they don't want to take a vacation because they're afraid the company will fall apart without them.
Mike.
That is not my thought process at all. I enjoy working. I think that's something that's just, I think that's almost a biological thing. That's just, you find more of that in men than in women. But I have a lot of buddies. Like we really enjoy what we do. We enjoy seeing the needle move.
Yeah.
And we get fulfillment from that.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a desire to go on vacation. I have a desire to see the KPIs go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a desire for vacation.
Girl trip.
Yeah. You go
I've done a lot of girl
trips
lately.
She goes on trips without me all the time.
And Sunday, I was like, I'm going to get a pedicure. Bye. And just like left.
Yeah.
I've been more empowered lately.
Now, do you guys have kids yet?
We have a 3-year-old.
Oh, you have 3-year-old.
3.5.
Oh man, yeah. So that's like my little sister has kids that are younger than me. She's 15 years younger. She's my half sister. She's got a oh gosh, how old are they now? They keep growing. I think that she's got like maybe 5 and 7 now.
Yeah.
And she lives in London actually. And so whenever I go over there, it's always like we go visit my sister and then we do like a cool European vacation. Right. And so I'm always like, hey, do you think you could sneak away and we can go to Paris? And she's always like, oh my God, that sounds awesome. And then she goes and talks to her husband and she's like, no. And she finally just said, I'm in a different place than you in my life and I can't just like run off. I have like a job and kids. And I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. Same there.
Yeah. There's definitely seasons for life like that.
Yeah. When your kids are older, it's a lot easier to like sneak off and have a weekend in Paris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be so nice. Yeah, I went on like a 4-day cruise with my friend and she has kids and her ex was able to take them for that week. And then, yeah, Mike survived with our kiddo.
She's great when you're not there.
She's so good when I'm not there too. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
She's perfect. Like no accidents, like sleeps
We'll sit up and watch movies and eat ice cream and have a good time.
I could see them on the monitor. I was like, why is she not in bed yet? It's like midnight.
Because we were snuggled on the couch.
It was a weekday and they're
That's awesome.
watching TV and she's fine. I'm like, she'd be losing her mind at like 9 p.m.
You know what's so funny is for a couple years I worked in at a adolescent treatment and I did like outpatient like IOP with teens and families and I now lived in I was actually trained as an MFT in California.
Okay.
And so I passed the exam but I could never find a supervisor in Texas so that's why I'm an LPC.
They're less frequent here, yeah.
So I actually have an MFT background and
Nice.
so I love working with kids and I would often do, they really like us to do the family sessions, which I think are great with teenagers. But one of the things I would do is like the family sculpting.
Oh, I love family.
Do you remember that?
Sculpting and family drama.
Oh, yeah, I love family drama. Oh, love it. Love it.
It's so
fun. I always loved it when like the step parents would come because they're always the ones that have like the clearest view of the problem.
Yeah.
Unless they were the problem.
They're not allowed to say it.
Until they come into my session. And all this drama with mom and dad and the kids this is happening. And then I look at the step parent and I go, okay, what's actually happening here? And they would name the problem just like that because they're not in it as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is they can have, sometimes the step parents can have a really objective view. Obviously, if their own house is in order, but I would have some step parents that just had really funny things to say because it wasn't their kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't their kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I love the family dynamics can get really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do family sculpting, but with the group. So they'll like sculpt their family using the group members. And then kind of like the narrative therapy we're talking about, like we'll go through it and we're like, okay, like how would you have preferred this? Like, what did you need from your mom? And then we act that out. And
I
it's
love that.
Really cool. Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause then
fun.
they like get kind of like change the narrative and like get what they need from their like mom or dad in the scene.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
I worked at Valley Hope. I finished my training hours up there in Dallas when Don, oh God, now I can't even think of his last name. He was like one of the original guys that wrote all that family therapy research and put it into practice.
Yeah.
And God, he was 1,000,000 years old though when we were there. He was like 80 and just like doing 40-hour-a-week therapy and stuff. And the people in his group, like he would fall asleep from time to time. But then they said he would just like wake up. Like he was listening the whole time and he would just like wake up and he would say like the most insightful things.
He's just like in a meditative state. Like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. I love that.
I know. It was funny and like the, you know, kind of like you were saying before, if you're in personal recovery and you're a master's level therapist, you're very in demand clinician because there's not that many of us.
You can do both because I feel like you either get stuck in one side or the other. And
Yeah.
so that was my mission with Atomic and Awkward was like, I'm not in recovery, but like I understand it. I've really like dove into the culture and like trying to really understand it, how it fits into therapy. And so, it's just using the right lingo for their, like if someone wants ACT therapy, okay, like we'll just use that lingo, but it's all the same.
Yeah.
And so it's just like knowing what to use for what person. Like I honestly believe if you're not eclectic that you're potentially unethical, like not meeting clients where they're at, because the eclectic style is like meeting anyone.
You have to have enough tools in your toolbox, right? Yeah. And you also have to have those lines, right? Like I don't do eating disorders.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do them. I've never been trained to do them. They kind of scare me.
Yeah.
I've never had an eating disorder. I don't do them.
Yeah.
If you have that problem, you will not see me.
Yeah. Eating disorders, like OCD, autism are kind of on the outskirts of our like specialties. Like, not really. No one's really trained in it here. It's like, you have to know your limits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I would just always feel like very, there's a couple of things that, and here's what I always tell people about bad therapists. I know there are bad therapists out there because I went to school with them.
I've worked for them or with them.
You know what my therapist said when I was in grad school? She said, don't look for mental health in the mental health industry.
Dude,
and I was like, she was right.
Yeah, I came into this field. I went like straight through college, undergrad, grad school, and so I was like pretty young coming into the field in 2015. And oh my God, I was like naive, like, oh, like all these therapists are gonna be like so healthy and like welcoming and like supportive of one another. No, I have literal trauma from workplace, working in healthcare. Did the EMDR to like get rid of
trauma from my trauma-informed therapy practice.
Yes, like so much trauma from the workplace. Like not a good supervisor. One good supervisor.
My first traineeship was at Kaiser on Sunset in Hollywood, and it was crazy. And we had this one guy that came into the adult group, and he was just, I don't know, he was just really kind of dumb and ugly. And I just,
the therapist or the client?
The client. And I just kind of found him very annoying because he didn't think that about himself. Yeah. And then one day he starts sharing about how he's got 4 girlfriends. And here I am thinking, I wish I had a boyfriend and this dumb, ugly guy has 4 girlfriends.
Like, I can do it. I can surely get one.
And I will tell you that particular program rotated from an adolescent, all outpatient, adolescent, adult, and then we had a codependent group. So it was there were 3 trainees, and we would rotate through the 3 units. And let me tell you, we all hated that codependent group. Oh my God. That's the sickest group of people I've ever seen in my life. And hard, we all were just like, came out of there like, God, I want to drink. Like, they were just like so hard.
And meshed.
Because when you're dealing with like the Al-Anons, like you could tell people don't drink, right? That's simple. But it's kind of like a process addiction, right? It's like a sex addiction or a food addiction. It's
You're
like
addicted to the person doing well. Or,
you can't just tell people who have an eating disorder, well, just eat or just don't eat, right? It's well, just, you can't tell someone with a codependency to just stop loving your loved ones, right?
Having relationships.
Exactly. Like stop relating to people. Like, they were really just a hard group to wrap your head around and just be with, and just a sad group because they were dealing with, I think what they had is they had this same problem thing, but they were counting on someone else to do the work.
Right.
Whereas
their happiness depends on the success of the loved one.
Right. Whereas if you're the one with the chemical problem, like you have some agency because you can make some choices, right? You can take some actions, whereas they're waiting on someone else to take the action.
Yeah. I love Al-Anon because it's so intense with boundaries, but you need that. Just like AA, you need like pretty strict foundation for the beginning, and then like, take what works and leave the rest. But the start, you kind of need to like detox from your loved one.
Yeah.
Separate that.
I wish they had that. Maybe you should start that here.
Start that. All right. Detox.
Detox from your loved one that's being toxic to you.
Clip.
I think they might call that a vacation. I don't know. Girls trip.
That's my favorite, the mom of a client. Like we've had some that when they come to us and they like get into sober living, they get into programming, they get a job, and we're calling the mom and she's like, I'm in Europe. I'm like, good for you.
Good for you.
Do that.
Absolutely.
You go. Like,
absolutely.
Go to life.
And I will say, when I was doing that the teenager program, I love this book, Parenting Teenagers with Love and Logic. Do you guys know the book? There's one that's Parenting Kids with Love and Logic. If you have a kid, you should definitely read that one. But I love the teenager one too, because the teenager one it's about letting the child own their problem. Right? So now we're getting into more of the codependency, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these parents, especially now, which is why we have this generation is like, part of this is the parenting, right? We need to let them own their problems. And so I had this one kid who she was a nice girl. She was very nice to me. She just wasn't very nice to her parents. They just like, oil and water. And one day I had the parents read this book that was, it's kind of a little bit of this tough love stuff written by a couple. I think it was a therapist and a pastor that wrote the book, with a little bit of Christian principles, but overall just some good old fashioned like CBT, good boundaries kind of stuff.
Nice.
And so her daughter was in the car and she was freaking out and kicking the dashboard and stuff and just being a little 16-year-old brat. And so the mom just pulls over and says, "Get out." And they're far from their house.
Oh, no.
But she's 16 and she has shoes, and she gets out of the car and her phone has already been taken away.
Oh my God.
So the kid walks home.
Wow.
It's a 2-hour walk.
Jeez.
Where I think she spends a lot of time thinking about her behavior.
Will I do that again?
Yeah. And I was like, good for you, Mom.
Yes, that's great.
I bet she won't do that in your car again. Like, is it going to solve all this kid's problems? No, but you know what? This child now has, here was what happened, and here was my consequence. It's like letting them suffer natural consequences.
You're making me think of
good for you.
Our daughter last night. She went to bed super duper early because she was having a bad day.
She wouldn't eat dinner, so we're like, all right, go to bed.
Even going to bed, she was fighting with me, and like I was trying to tuck her in, and she's just throwing stuff out the bed and everything. I said, all right, then go to bed on your own, and I slammed the door shut and left. And she's like, no, I need you. And I let her go for about 2 minutes, and I walked in there and I tucked her in everything, and I'm giving her a hug and stuff. Good night. And she goes, I think I'm gonna listen better tomorrow.
Oh, See?
We do the tough love thing with her, and it works because she's so feisty.
Yeah.
She's us. She's opinionated. She's intense, and so we're like, okay, you're gonna have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Like consequences all the time.
Yeah, but it's funny when they're that age. If you start doing it when they're that age, you won't have to do it when they're 16.
That's what I'm
we
hopeful
don't
for.
we don't have many issues with her. It's just when we do, they're big.
Okay.
But there's been times where like my parents are over and like Rachel will say something that I didn't even agree with, but then I will enforce it with our daughter just because I'm like, I can't let her win at this point. Like, she has to know that there's no hope here. You're going to lose every time.
Absolutely. Don't let them think you can split you.
She's been doing that lately with the TV or like a snack or something. She'll ask him, and then she'll come to me, and so we've gotten better.
We would call her. We would call her on our daughter on that. We would go, "Didn't you just ask Dad?" And he said no.
Yeah. We have gotten better at that because she started it hard the last.
Oh, they're smart.
Weeks.
Yeah, sounds like you got a smart kid.
She's really
that
smart.
was the problem with my daughter was I read that book, but by the time I read it and she was about your daughter's age, she was already sort of past some of that stuff. I'd be like, because they say with kids that age, like you give them choices to get them out of the tantrum. You go, do you want to wear the red sweater or the blue sweater?
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah. But my daughter is intellectually gifted, so then she would just keep asking questions. She would go, well, why can't I wear the yellow sweater or the beige sweater?
That's what our daughter started to do.
Oh, yeah. You have a smart child.
How does that work? How? Not even a why, just a how.
There was a point where my daughter started asking us what time it was, like every 5 minutes.
She hardly does that right now.
Does that
She's
too,
been asking what time it is a lot. I'm like,
So
you got somewhere to be?
Yeah.
What we started doing was, that MC Hammer song called Hammer Time.
Yeah.
We would put that on and start dancing. It's Hammer Time. And she would just be like, y'all are weird.
I was calling our daughter MC Hammer the other day because she had these gold, like
big
really
pants.
puffy pants on.
Her hiking pants.
She was bouncing around the house and stuff. I was like, all right, MC Hammer, go sit down.
Yeah, she's really smart. We'll see her go toe to toe with like 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds and keep up with them. So we're looking at like preschool, and I'm like, she might test out of it. Like it's the social thing because she stays home with the au pair. So
Okay.
the thing is like sharing and like socializing.
We can. That is another area we could talk about sometime if you want to. Because I have a daughter that tested gifted in. I think she started the testing process in 6th grade and was diagnosed as gifted in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And do we want to do that today, or do we want to do a different day?
Home to our kid, but I would love to have you back and talk about
Let's
that.
talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I also have ADHD and was in some gifted classes growing up, so I have like experience with unrecognized stuff like that.
What's that meme? How is it? You kids from the 80s that were diagnosed gifted, how's that ADHD going?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I was too. Yeah.
I went to a school that didn't even have gifted programs. So
Yeah, well, I was in gifted in Texas and moved to Louisiana, and then I didn't test high enough in Louisiana. That was a whole
Do you
identity
know
crisis.
why they have gifted programs? It's because it's considered almost similar to a disability.
yeah,
Yeah.
So they have to have them.
I tried to get in the special ed program.
Yeah, Louisiana. He was at a very small
Yeah.
60-person school.
I figured out that if you were in special ed, they couldn't fail you, and so I started intentionally trying to play dumb,
Started a petition.
so they would get me in. And then my parents found out about it, and it turned into a big thing.
Yeah, no.
I had gone to the church, and I got them to write a letter, and
That's hilarious.
yeah,
He was
and,
really smart. He scored higher on the state testing than I did.
yeah. I had a 1.7 GPA when I graduated high school, but I scored a
Perfect score on the ACT.
yeah on the ACT, and that was my
That
junior
is a
year.
sign that you might be a gifted child. So we need to talk about that.
I was a bored child. That's what I was.
Yes, gifted is you're too smart for your own good.
Right. That's exactly
Or for
it.
your own grade level, I
Yeah,
guess.
I would figure out exactly what I needed to pass, And like 1.7, that was the minimum passing grade. And so I would do everything, and then like I would get right to where if I failed the final, then I would still pass the class, and I would just quit school 2 weeks early and not do finals.
I had a 1.8, I think, at the end of my freshman year at UNT, and they invited me to take some time off.
Yeah.
He was asked not to come back to college.
Yeah, I was not invited to college.
See, it's funny too, because people think like therapists, oh, like you have a master's degree, like you're like must have been such a good student. I was a CD student until grad school. I got all A's. Like my family was like, "Who are you? What is happening?" I was like, "I actually care about this topic."
Right. You got to do something that didn't bore you to tears.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you for coming. We'll have you back.
Absolutely.